share your application for us. Please stand.
Our God and Creator, we gratefully acknowledge that you are the Lord our God, the God of all people. You are the God of all the generations. So we in turn take a moment to thank you and sing your praises for our lives, which are in your hand, for our souls, which are ever in your keeping, for the signs of your presence we encounter every day, for the opportunity you've given us to serve this authority and the citizens that it serves, and as well as for all of your many, many gifts to us, morning, noon, and night. We pray that peace and goodwill will obtain among the inhabitants of our county, our state, our land, and that belief in you will continue to spread its many blessings among us, exalting us all in righteousness. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. In the absence, you have your flag on. Rabbi?
No.
In the absence, I was going to say we'll pledge to him, but can I pledge allegiance to the flag? Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which we stand, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Let me see.
That table there needs to pledge allegiance to us.
That's too funny.
That was not on the agenda, so that we get approved.
So,
Second.
Move second, that the agenda be approved. All those in favor, let it be known by. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Motion carried. The agenda is approved. Can be a confirmation of the authority's minutes for the authority meeting of 12/4/19, the finance committee of 12/19/19, the engineering committee of 12/19/19.
so moved.
Second.
Been moved second that those minutes be approved. All those in favor, let it be known by. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Motion carried. The minutes are approved. In the petition, a request today from the public. Said none, we move then to new business, and that's to the direct recommendation for appointments of vice chairman, standing committees, the Macon Economic Development Commissioner, and the Newtown Macon Board for 2020. I guess as it relates to the committee chairs, I don't know whether you passed out anything or not.
Give page 10 in your package.
Number 10.
And what?
But it's the same as
It's the same as last year.
same as last year. There's no change either in the recommendation for vice chairman nor for committee chairs. Look over the what is page 10 you say? Okay. Okay, that's one. Okay, let's go. We're looking at the finance committee. See the members there, any suggested change to any recommendations for the finance committee. Then can I get engineering committee?
Well, Mr. Chairman, this time I will move that we approve it on the bus fashion.
Okay, so all in favor, let it be known by. Okay, that's now to the board appointment. You see you had something.
Yeah, Newtown Macon, I'd like to recommend that we add a nurse, Dr. Jones, to the Newtown Macon board.
I'll second.
Second, Dr. Jones be added to the Newtown Macon board. Okay, with that addition, are there any other suggested changes? I make that recommendation that these people be approved. The MEDC and for the Newtown Macon. Got to get a motion to accept the board appointment. So moved. The second that the board appointments be accepted. If you think that just a little bit in addition to what you'd already recommended, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so we just added the one addition to the person, so we're voting to add Dr. Jones to. Again, all in favor, let me know by.
Aye.
Opposed? No. Ayes have it, and that's it. Okay, consider the recommendation, appointment to the Macon Soil Board, Mr. Patterson is chairman, of the Macon Board.
That's the, actually, there's another term for you and Mr. Patterson, and that was the recommendation of the committee that, of Macon Soils, that you and Mr. Patterson be reappointed for another 2-year term.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's what was on the one that sent us with it. But okay, so got a motion yet?
Second.
I move second that Mr. Patterson and Art be reappointed to the Macon Soils Board for another term. Okay, report to the standing committees. The Finance Committee is done.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, just point of order to the one, consider this before that.
Oh, dates.
Mr. Hall.
Thank you.
Okay, public hearing, that is.
Okay, you're gonna have to speak with the outdoor voice.
Yeah.
I think, on this, board, we don't have the, microphone, so you're gonna have to speak a little bit louder. Okay, you have before you the, suggested schedule for the 2020 board, meetings and committee meetings, standing committee meetings. Look over those and see if there are any, suggested changes in that, any conflicts that you see. You can see again, we make the adjustments for the annual chamber meeting and make that date, so there's no conflict on that addition date. And for the April 16th committee meeting, we recommended on that one, which changes what we normally do. It's first and third, we recommended the 23rd of April instead. And for in June 18th, we recommend June 25th instead. Again, make sure you know this is the pension committee meets quarter on the third Thursday in February, May, June, August, and November at 3:30. Any other changes, conflicts that you see? Okay, can we get a motion to adopt these dates?
Second.
Move second of these dates for our board meeting and standing committee meetings, be accepted. All in favor, let me know. Aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, the motion is carried. The dates are accepted. Thank you for that. Now let's move to the standing committees and the finance committee. Mr. Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Begin with an apology, although I knew we had a board meeting today, my wardrobe forgot, so I apologize for being unaddressed for the board meeting portion of the budget. We have a very brief agenda, just 2 items. The first is proposed operating and capital budget for the stormwater management program. This is for the periods of October 1st, 2019 through September 30th, 2020, and from October 1st of 2020 through September 30th of 2021. The first year includes startup costs for the program. Of course, this proposed budget for the second year assumes that the Water Authority does not exercise the opt-out provision in our intergovernmental agreement with Macon County. In addition to these budgets, Mr. Guy Moore, our EVP of Business Operations, has developed a long-range budget performance that includes projections through September 30th, 2030. Closed your package of memorandum from Mr. Bull and the budget documents. Mr. Chairman, the Finance Committee unanimously recommends the board approve the proposed operating capital budget to support the stormwater management program for the periods of October 1st, 2019 through September 30th, 2020, as well as October 1st, 2020 through September 30th, 2021.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation from the Finance Committee. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, let it be known by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, motion carried. The ayes is approved.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our second item on the agenda is also from our committee is a request to retain Atlantic Inc. to acquire and produce a quality level 1 LiDAR data from Macon, County. Atlantic has been contracted by the USGS to acquire a level 2 LiDAR for 32,000 square miles of Georgia during this acquisition season, which is the winter of 19 and spring of 20. As this area includes Macon County, Atlantic can acquire a high-resolution quality 1 data program for Macon Water Authority and Macon County for a fee of $49,998.31. Per the Macon Water Authority and Macon County's intergovernmental agreement for stormwater management, section 6.2, which is enclosed in your packet, the parties agree they shall obtain aerial photography and LiDAR at least every 5 years and share equally in the cost associated therein. Mr. Chairman, the Finance Committee unanimously recommends the board approve the recommendation to approve a sole source agreement for LiDAR with Atlantic Surveys not to exceed $49,998.30.
Okay, you've heard the recommendation coming from the Finance Committee. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, let it be known by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. Ayes have it, and the motion is carried.
And Mr. Chairman, that concludes the Finance Committee.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Jones. We'll move into the Engineering Committee. Mr. Patterson.
We got 9 items on the engineering committee, and first one is recommended by the engineering committee unanimously to consider the recommendation to approve master architect and engineering design services agreement in task release number 1 with ASR Advanced Architects.
Okay, you heard the recommendation from the Engineering Committee through the contract for services, design services. Ready for the question? All those in favor, let it be known by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Motion is carried.
Number 2, the engineering committee recommends unanimously to consider the recommendation to approve change order number 7 of the design build project with Aspen.
Okay, you heard the recommendation from the Engineering Committee. They ready for the question? All those in favor, let it be known by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is carried.
Item number 3, the engineering committee unanimously recommends to approve task release number 8 with Barge Design for stormwater implementation.
Okay, you heard the recommendation from the Engineering Department. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, let it be known by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. Motion is carried. It is approved.
Item number 4, the engineering committee unanimously recommends to approve task release number 3, the engineering design and construction services for water and sewer relocations from the Bass Road Bridge replacement at North Fork Southern Railroad with Hofstadter and Associates.
You heard the recommendation from the Engineering Department Committee. Ready for the question? All those in favor, let it be known by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, the motion is carried.
Item number 5, engineering committee recommends unanimously to approve task release number 4 for the engineering design and construction services for water and sewer relocations for the State Route 11, State Route 49, US 41 bridge replacement, 8 Norfolk Southern Hofstadter and Associates.
You heard the recommendation coming from the engineering committee. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, let me know by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the motion is carried and approved.
The item number 6, the engineering committee unanimously recommends to approve task release number 5 with for engineering design and construction services for water and sewer relocations for 2 roundabouts, one located on State Route 22 at Knoxville Road, and one at State Route 22, Fulton Mill Road, with Hofstadter and Associates.
You heard the recommendation coming from the engineering committee. Ready for the question? All those in favor, let me know by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, the motion is carried.
Item number 7, the engineering committee unanimously recommends to approve task release number 2, water and sanitary sewer relocations for Tucker Road Bridge replacements over I-475 and Rocky Creek with Carter Engineering Group.
You heard the recommendation from the engineering committee. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, let me know by aye. Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, and the motion is carried.
Item number 8, the engineering committee recommends unanimously to approve task release number 3, water and sanitary sewer relocations for roundabouts for Route 11, 49, and 247 with Carter Engineering Group.
You heard the recommendation from the engineering committee. Ready for the question? All those in favor, let me know by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, the motion is carried.
Okay, item number 9, the engineering committee recommends unanimously to approve task release easement acquisition services for sanitary sewer extension, Sardis Church Road, Nile Road area with Carter Engineering Group. That's the last one.
Okay. You heard the recommendation from the engineering committee. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, let me know by aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it, the motion is carried.
That concludes engineering.
Thank you, Ms. Patterson. Okay, Mr. Ball, to review the monthly financial report and health insurance report for November 30th, 2019.
Thanks, Chairman Hart. On page 8 and 9 in your handout, I'm not going to read through all of this, but the narrative is included. The November financials should be page 80, 81, and 82 in your handout, so I believe it's the last 3 pages in the handout. I'm just going to touch quickly on a few things. As you're well aware, we were still recovering in November from the ransomware attack that hit on October 27th. The focus has not been going back and trying to create financials. It's been focused on making sure that the first quarter that we end on December 31st is as tight, buttoned up as tight as possible. I will tell you, with the November financials, the revenues should be pretty close to what they to reality. There are going to be some swings in December because of the estimations that occurred in November and then the true-ups that occurred in December. The expenses, so I'll just touch quickly on page 80. The total revenues against our year-to-date budget just had favorability of $1.256 million. Water and sewer revenues were up $1,193,062 against the October and November budget. I would strongly emphasize that I expect that to change when the first full quarter is finalized through December 31st. And I should have those numbers for you at the next board meeting. Operating expenses showed favorability of $2.5 million. We do know factually that there are expenses that should have been in October and November that did not get processed. So they will show up in December. Finance department is working diligently to go through and make sure that everything is closing out in December. On the health insurance account, we did see the second month of significant favorability. The monthly increase, the account increased $117,000 in November. It had increased pretty significantly in October as well. So year to date, that account is already up $387,000. All outstanding activity for the previous fiscal year was accrued for, and so this should be a clean view and a clean starting point with our October 1st numbers. Please go through this. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. I would also like to let you know that the audit, as you are aware, we started that later in the year. That started 2 weeks ago, and the audit fieldwork is finishing up tomorrow. And I'll be meeting with the manager on the engagement next week to go through preliminaries. So far, there's nothing that would suggest that the audit's not going to be delivered on time as it has been in past years.
Questions? Thank you, Mr. Moore. Let's move then to the report of the Executive Director, Mr. Rojas.
Yes, sir, Chairman Hart. I've just got a few items to report. The first is to inform the board, and I know our General Counsel, Mr. Adams, talked to you concerning this, Chairman Hart. We only have one candidate qualify for the District 2 special election for the remainder of the term for Mr. Lucas. That was Mr. Meredith Johnson. Therefore, per state law, it allows when you only have one candidate who qualifies, you presume that candidate votes for themselves, and it's not necessary to conduct the election. He'll be sworn in after the election date, though, even though it doesn't occur. And then the term is until December 31st of this year. Of course, this comes in March, they'll be qualifying, and in May, there'll be an election for the full term for District 2 beginning January 1st, 2021 for 4 years. So just want to communicate that to you so you're aware of that. We've reached out to Mr. Johnson, and I congratulated and told him that I was appreciated the fact that he offered himself for service, and talked to him about arranging a time for us to schedule orientation for him and introduce him to things with the authority so he can hit the ground running when that term begins. And then just want to let you know that we have categorized the call center supervisor's position as a hot job. The compensation guidelines allow us to do that where we've got a unique job, and for the long-term strategy of the organization and some other factors that apply, we can pay up to the 75th percentile. So we're looking for a candidate, actually found a candidate who that we believe can really help us with the operations, but has potential for succession planning for us that will help us in the future as we go forward. So I just want to let you know that. Be glad to explain that to any of y'all as it works, but we've done that and categorized it that way. We discussed it a lot further. And then coming pretty quickly, March is on the way, and so that's fishing season for us at Jaggers Lucas Lake. So that season starts May 8th. And the schedule's on our web page. We made a change to the plan for the kids fishing derby that we hold annually, and that's going to be on March 7th. So we got plenty of time to push that news out, but I want to mention that. And then that's all I have at this time, Ken.
Okay, that's all you have at this time. Okay, before we go into executive session, can we, again, what's the,
Recess?
recess, we want to recess the, board meeting so that we can, and move into, committee meetings, and then we'll come back into, there and report our committee and move forward. Want to make sure we turn it, that's okay. All right. So, can I get a motion then to recess? All right. It'll be second, all those in favor, let me know by. Opposed? No, the ayes have it, we're in recess. Now don't go out.